This is the In the Black podcast.
So recently, Ochocinco, Chad Ochocinco for that matter, was on Stephen A. Smith's podcast. This was live from the Super Bowl at the time. And Chad apparently was talking about some of the intimacy gripes that he had with his now divorced wife. So he ends up saying he's talking to his wife and they're being intimate in the moment. And he thinks he's laying it down. And he says that she whispers in his ear, "I need you to go deeper." And his response is, "I'm in as far as I can go. I can't get no deeper." He told Stephen A. Smith, "I ain't got enough pee-pee to go."
She said in my ear, "Go deeper. Stay with me now." And what hurt me is I was already all the way in. So I had ran out of pee-pee. And that is what caused me to perfect my craft in the pelvic area so I would never have to hear that again.
You do understand the cameras are rolling?
Yeah,
you understand? I mean, do you really want people to know this? I mean, I can edit it out, bro.
No, don't edit it out. I told you I don't have a private life. I'm here to share my stories and my shortcomings.
Who you are now,
yeah, completely different.
Is manufactured because it was surgically enhanced.
Yes, sir. And and I'm comfortable saying that. And I can tell you that it's just something you.
So of course, Stephen A. Smith makes fun of this man as they're recording and asking, "Do you know that we're recording?" Like people know they're hearing you say this now, right? He said, "No, I'm talking to you, my big bro." He ended up getting some sort of, and I don't know what surgery because he didn't say, but he ended up getting some sort of plastic surgery / modification to his joint to help him be able to better satisfy. This is according to him. So the question that I'm asking you, because to be honest with you,
never had that problem, my guy. Never had that problem, my man. Never had that problem, baby.
I cannot relate.
Listen. I'm here. Hold on. That's the bottom. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know about anybody else. You know,
my only memories are
whoa. Listen, my guy. Hey,
I want to make sure that I am very clear. You two motherfuckers are the reason why Chad is facing all this backlash now.
Yeah. I'll take that. Yeah.
Because listen, this is the reason why
some of us know how to fill a room. You know what I'm saying?
Not because we're sitting around talking about other niggas' joints and shit, but let's real talk. Let's grown men talking to grown men.
Right.
The fact that he felt so ashamed that he went out to go not only get surgery, but then to see the backlash or the jokes that he's catching because of it made me ask this question. If a woman told you that she found a man that she was deeply in love with, wanted, satisfied all her needs, and he said, "Your breast and ass ain't big enough for me," and she went and got surgery, would we be treating her the same way?
No, because they do it every day, my guy.
But that's my point, my guy. That's my point. Why is it that men face this type of backlash?
I'm going to assume that it was only men who complained about this. I'm assuming that it was only men who gave the backlash to this dude. Women don't care about this. I'm telling you. First off, I'm not going to. Let me be clear about what I'm saying. Women don't care about.
Yes, make sure
women are not going to make a big deal out of men taking some sort of penile enhancement. That's not a thing that women are overly concerned about. Why? Because their bodies experience different changes for their reproductive system because we only got to worry about not being able to last longer, right? Or for our penis not to be able to get hard. Women have to worry about their breasts sagging at an earlier age with every pregnancy, they have to worry about stretch marks, not only to even begin talking about what their
With
whole reproductive system has to go through
how that changes as they get older. You're right
on
about
a
that, bro.
monthly basis.
You're right about that, bro.
So
You're
that
right about that.
we're the only ones who are in such a weird space where we don't talk to each other about these things. Like we
True.
don't
It's
have
fair.
conversation, and if we do, it's typically a real close homie that we slide them purple pills to every now and
Facts.
then. Like, yo, bro,
Facts.
listen. You
Facts.
know what I
I'll
mean?
give you that.
So I find
I
it fascinating that men don't want to have, but men in general don't talk about their sex lives. Now, here's the key part. They don't talk about their sex lives with their committed partners to
mm,
other men. Now, we will have conversations about, Stacy and Keisha, who we smashing, but we ain't really got no deep, intimate connection with. But we won't talk to each other about the sex lives of our wives because there is a
Do you
level.
think that that's even to even
Well,
ask a man that? I think that that's not only dastardly but dangerous because
I
you
mean,
know that men are territorial. Men are
I don't.
territorial, and no man wants to open a window, a crack in the door that allows his homie, whoever it
You
is,
see,
any
that's
other
it. I
man,
think that's a
to think
level of
about that.
insecurity. I think it's a level of
Why is it
insecurity.
a level of insecurity
wait,
if you know
wait,
that
that's-
men
Okay, hold
innately
on.
are
wait.
territorial?
Okay,
Hold on.
I want to hear Crush, but then I want to explain to you because I don't think we are as territorial as we like to proclaim. I think we use the territorial framework as a max to just say, nah, we insecure as shit, and we really are concerned about our
God damn.
others being with somebody else.
God
Well,
damn.
it's just
Okay.
me,
Okay.
Go ahead, Crush.
I mean, I think there's a presumption that this is an area of our married lives that we should have relatively under control. That there's a reason why we're married to each other. I think there's definitely an assumption there that that's one area that is also aside from being private should be relatively under control, at least from the man's side.
Say that again. That last part.
At least from the man's side, it's at least from man to man. If man to man, that's naturally assumed to be an area that should be relatively, unless it's obvious that there's some domestic violence going on. It's not really, and especially if you see children. I mean, I think dudes already assume that things are cool. But or that this is not really an area that another man could help them in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and again, I think there's a level of. And I think this conversation is wonderful. And I think this is a conversation that should be had more often. We men get into intimate relationships where we have chosen the one, right? And we're there. We no longer have the same type of conversations with our homies about the women that we're involved with that we used to. And I'm not saying be disrespectful. I'm not saying being, just nasty about, hey, yo, I did this and XYZ. But before, we would have those kind of conversations. We would share certain aspects. Now, and I think there's a level of territorial, but I think there's a level of insecurity. I think there's a level of even condition to view these things as private that we should not be sharing with each other. But I think also that leads us to a position where we ultimately, in many ways, start suffering in silence. That we don't have the conversations about any type of, erectile dysfunction. We just think sometimes that it's just our age, when it can be your prostate, when it can be so many other things that other men have experienced at an early age. We typically don't have this conversation about any type, and I find it fascinating because we'll see it on TV, we'll see it in commercials, like it's all over the place. That is one of the most trending, popular products to be sold on
Very
television
true.
now
Very true.
is anything that has to do with male erectile dysfunction, right? But we don't have these conversations in general. We don't talk about how there are vitamins, there are things that we can do that change our diet that
Just
affects
overall exercise.
our overall exercise. Like you ain't got enough magnesium in your diet. You ain't taking no zinc. You ain't doing all these things to then you add on some of these other things, such as religion and all these
But
other types of things,
okay,
where it just closes the door on the conversation.
but I think can you let's be real. Can you necessarily blame a guy for not wanting to voice to his homeboys or even to the public at large about
I'd like to
his
hear the reasons why you want
okay
to do that.
the reason why I think that it doesn't happen is we men historically, whether it's because of their own doing or not, gauge their manhood, their manliness on their virility and their ability to not only to perform, but on the size of their penis, right? In turn, we then use it as a weapon against ourselves, and women in turn use it as a weapon against men to insult men when they feel that men are not performing up to par. So all of that being the case, the last thing you want to do is to have a conversation with your homeboy or even with your partner at times, because some of those truths or the anxiety of being told that you're not adequate enough becomes a thing.
But is the truth that is bothering us, or is it the fact that we have been taught, conditioned, led to believe that those things are connected to our manhood, and that when they are not working properly, we are less than a man?
It seems like
you already said conditioning. That element that you just said right there about not being able to shake it away, saying that you are less than a man, as it associates with that. It's hard, and we've been conditioned to believe that. So I don't blame folks.
Yeah, I think as men,
I don't blame them either. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, as men, we've definitely bound our egos to our virility.
Facts.
Facts.
Which is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, because that virility will come and go as time goes on. Father Time
is undefeated.
Yes, sir. Will beat that into the ground. But our virility is something that we hold on to on a almost psychological, even spiritual level.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely agree on a spiritual level. That is very good.
We hold on to it. We don't look at it. We don't examine it. We even maybe embrace it too much, but we don't. I don't know if there's any room for reflection on virility except through time. But if you were to examine what your virility is outside of its biological context, then you would see how much of it you really need to push back into your life. I mean, granted, maybe it does provide a certain motivation for certain aspects of life, but otherwise I can see where it corrupts certain perceptions and perspectives.
So check this
out.
Trying
to protect that virility of more than anything else.
Okay, check this out. So I was going to ask you both, do you believe that with age comes, I guess, less concern about some of these things? And maybe because Chad is a young man.
No.
You don't think so? That the older you get, the less you're really concerned with all of that because you have other things in?
No, I'm saying that I think that the older you get, the more concerned you become.
The more concerned about what? Your virility and your manhood?
Yeah, because you realize, and I'm gonna tell you, for me, the older that I get, the more concerned I am, not with the myths or the stereotypes when it comes to virility, but just with the natural virility of being a man, because I realize that the more that I am, those things don't operate, whether it be getting up with aches and pains in the morning or things along those lines, just in general. That means the closer I am to the end. So then I become more concerned and more aware of those things. But the first thing I become more aware of is, damn it, I wish I would have paid more attention to these things when I was young.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I would say you become more sensitive to stress.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
More sensitive.
Yeah.
You begin to actually see the things that will contribute to it. You actually feel it coming on, and you can actually feel it draining from your body now more. And
I'd be like, nah, player, I don't want nothing to do with you. Get out of here.
Okay. Maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way you've both just described it, it seems as though you're talking about your mortality or manhood in its totality, in its full package.
Sure.
My argument is that as an older man, or as you get older, in terms of your sexual prowess, that you become less concerned because there are other things in your life that you believe are more important. It's like, I don't care if he believes that my penis is not the correct size because you're going to suck whatever I pull out of these jeans. I'm going to deal with what I need to deal with.
Most of these chicks will, because they're, that's what they do anyway. That's what happens anyway.
This nigga is diabolical, right?
I mean,
hold up, Elgin. Hold on. We're not gonna gloss over that. What the fuck do you have in your cup? Because you acted like you came out of pocket real quick this evening.
Well, there's coffee, you know what I mean? A little bit of High West. It can be 100 different things, you know.
This nigga is a menace. Oh my god, go ahead.
No,
dog.
but listen, man. I'm just saying, at some point in time, we know that things stop working the way that they once did, right? We know that, and this is not a thing for just men. The reality of it is, at some point in time, a woman's vagina no longer has the same lubrication that it once did when she was younger. Like, lube is not just for men to make sure that men are able to slide in. Lube is also because women's bodies have changed over time, particularly when they get to a certain age and the pause starts hitting and things stop working the way that they used to. They need just as much assistance to get to that space as men do. So it's not as if this is just a man issue. It just so happens that we live in a society where men are often viewed and portrayed as the sexualized person in relationships. Like, we are the ones who always want it, and worse, when it comes to black men, that we can't control our sexual nature. So all these things are being funneled. If you notice, just pay attention. Probably after we get finished having this conversation, look at your algorithm and look at the number of black podcasters who are now selling some sort of
ED, sexual performance. Yeah, all of them got it. All of them got it as a sponsor, my guy.
Very
all
popular
of them.
sponsor. Very popular. One in particular, yeah.
Yeah, all of them got it, bro.
Yeah, they're all doing it. And they're feeding into a narrative, and they're feeding into a stereotype. And because, again, we do enjoy sex and want sex to be enjoyable for our partners. Those of us who are in committed relationships, we want that. We're not literally just in it to do what we once did maybe in our teens, where we just wanted to get ours. Now we understand that if we actually have our partner engaged, it is a far more enjoyable experience. If she's happy, my guy.
Elgin just learned that 3 years ago.
No, that was about 30 minutes ago. She just left. Bye, baby.
Yeah, you get a very happy household too.
Listen. I'm
very happy household. The food's better.
What's wrong with you, bro?
Food's better, bro. The laundry is folded up the right way. Like, listen.
Clothes be crispy.
Yeah, that little good morning text got hearts with it instead of just good morning.
Crush. I honestly thought that you were supposed to be the calmer of the two minds. You are not supposed to be adding fuel to his fire. Don't do that.
Okay. Listen.
It is, man.
You guys are menaces, bro.
Oh, no, I'm not. We're not menaces. We just are to a point where we are wildly honest about what is taking place in life now.
Now you're right about that, bro. So I'm gonna ask you the $1 million question. Do you guys fault Chad for even bringing that up and having that conversation? Because once again, it is still considered taboo.
I mean, I'm surprised that he would be so forthcoming. But to be honest with you, I mean, well, I guess if his partner was okay with it, then, you know, as long as she's not offended or embarrassed, then to be honest, fuck everybody else. But if my lady is mortified and like my mother-in-law is hitting me up on the phone. I'm like, oh god,
What you hit me up for? Because you know what I mean.
Yeah, man, shut the hell up, nigga.
You know what's gonna happen now? We're gonna starve. We're gonna starve. We're gonna lose weight.
You stupid.
Lose weight. Beard all out to here. Can't do
Listen, bro.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta do the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm not surprised, man. First off, I'm not surprised that he would be someone who says it. Just knowing
that's his type
his
of personality.
That's his personality to do it.
Yeah.
He is literally a no shame type of dude.
He's always this open.
Oh my God, he's always been this open during his playing career and post-playing career.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why he's such a likable guy.
Yeah, he's
always been this
emotional intelligence.
I would.
He does.
I'm just.
I would say here in the past couple of years, his emotional intelligence has strengthened and grown post
and that
just surrounding himself around with some other brothers who have been able to pour into him. He's better than he was.
Most men.
Yeah.
It can be very starting and disconcerting for most men.
And I thought that, to be honest with you, I don't know why, but I thought that Chad was a young guy, and he's not old. But I thought he was younger.
He's not old, but he's not young.
He's 47. He's 47 years old.
He's 40. Oh no, he's been out of the league for some time.
Yeah, he's a full-ass man. So hearing him say that, and it's one of the reasons why I asked the question about us as men getting older. Are we less concerned about what other people think? Which is why Chad was. But like you said, that's Chad's personality anyway. Also,
if his lady's fine with it,
and his bank account allows him to do.
His lady must be fine with it.
The fuck he wants to do. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up. I mean, I don't want to get the dude. And
he already has a sponsorship with one of these products that we talked about earlier.
Him and Shannon Sharp. Yeah, but I'm saying he might have one of those doctors from Miami. He might be. Right. Let's move on to the next fucking subject.